We are only a week away from Season 2 of Netflix's The Witcher, and since Season 1 it has been a long wait with lots and lots of delays coming to the production of the show. We are now 2 years down the line after Season 1 first aired, and we are finally getting to the highly anticipated Season 2. While the first season of the show was mostly loved and accepted by most fans around the world, especially fans of the games and people completely new to the Witcher universe, it also has seen a lot of backlash from people who were fans of the original books. And that's because people, maybe such as myself, and people who are a bit more harsh as well, are quite upset by some of the changes that the showrunners made and the writers made when putting together the show. A lot of people feel as though there have been a lot of very strange changes and strange decisions made to certain character arcs and certain plots in the show. And overall, most people who are fans of the books, regardless of whether or not they like the show or not, tend to agree that whether or not the show is bad or not, what it is a bad adaptation of the source material. Anyway, this video has nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with saying, oh, The Witcher is a horrible TV show. I'm not saying that at all. I'm actually really excited for Season 2. I'm excited to sit down and watch it, see what sort of changes have been made, what sort of improvements have been made since Season 1. The reason for this video is to say that we, as book fans, as Witcher fans, as fans of this Witcher universe, do not deserve Henry Cavill. This man is a hero. This man is brilliant. In a new interview with Marcin Zwierzchowski, Henry Cavill admitted to adding a scene to Season 2 of The Witcher without permission. This original interview is in Polish, so I'm actually going to be reading this from Redanian Intelligence. I strongly recommend checking out that website if you haven't already. It's a great place to get all sorts of Witcher news. In a new Polish interview, Henry Cavill reveals that he once just went in front of a camera and performed dialogue straight from the books that wasn't in the script. There is a fragment right at the beginning of Blood of Elves where Geralt loses consciousness on Sodden Hill. Geralt experiences a vision at that moment and talks to Death. Then, beautiful words are uttered about crossing the meadow and the fog. Cavill begins, talking about a scene that happens not really in Blood of Elves, but rather at the end of something more. There was no such scene in the series, he continues, and these words captivated me with their poetry. They were so wonderfully Sapkowski that I just wanted them to be spoken by my Geralt. However, I did not feel like having a long discussion about whether I could add this bit somewhere, so I just did it. I said the words in front of the camera and was ready to face the consequences. Eventually, this issue hit the mark in Season 2. Cavill continues that while he can discuss with the writer some of his overall issues, after he gets the scripts, there is no altering the overall plot if it isn't faithful enough for him, so he can only make some minor changes to the scripts. He said, as far as my issues are concerned, a lot of meetings took place. On the other hand, I often just fiddled with dialogue sitting in an armchair while my makeup was applied. Folks, regardless of what anyone thinks of this show, about whether you think it's a good adaptation, a bad adaptation, faithful to the source material, unfaithful to the source material, I think it's very, very clear that Henry Cavill is a very, very passionate man. He loves this Witcher universe. He loves the character of Geralt. He loves all the characters in this universe. He knows his stuff. He's read the books. He's a huge fan. And he is genuinely so passionate and pushing for faithfulness to the source material. He actually loved this part of something more. I have the book right here. Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski, the second book in the Witcher series. This is one of the short story books, and it's something more is the chapter. It's the final chapter of the book. This was one of my favourite chapters from all of the books, and I really did think that they didn't quite get it right. And so I'm really happy that they're kind of looking back at some of that for Season 2, and it's all thanks to Henry. It's all because he had the passion, he had the idea, he wanted to be so faithful to this material. He wanted to go back there and find the parts that really resonated with him, the parts that he thought were really, really strong. He wanted to take these beautiful poetic words from Sapkowski's original work, and he wanted to get them across on screen through his character. Now, whether or not that can be said for the rest of the actors and people who are part of the show, that remains to be seen. But something that is very, very much clear is that Henry himself is very passionate about this. And so with all the faults that there are for Season 1 of the show, and maybe also in Season 2, and any criticisms people have, I don't think that Henry and his approach to the role and his passion for this project can be doubted, can be faulted. I think that we are in very good hands with him. Obviously, there is a limit to how much he can actually change things, how much he can put his foot down and say, I want to put this source material stuff in here. As he mentioned, he can go to the writers and talk about it, but once the overall plot is finalised, he can't do much to change that. But what he can do is add these little moments that, well, although it's not perfect, and although it's not making the show into suddenly the most faithful thing ever, but what it is doing is adding these little bits of faith and throwbacks to the source material that people such as myself and other fans of the books are really going to appreciate, are really going to love. And so I, for one, as I keep saying, I'm really, really thankful to have read this morning. I just got up and it was like the first thing I saw was this article, and I'm like, you know, every time I read something about Henry and his commitment and his passion and about him in this role, I love the man even more. The man's amazing. Anyway, folks, I'm going to end this video here. Let me know in those comments down below. What do you think about Henry as Geralt? What do you think about him sort of forcing these scenes, forcing this dialogue change to make it more like the books originally rather than just going straight with the scripts? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think we don't really need that? Are you happy for that? Or would you like to see more of that? Let me know all your thoughts about this in those comments down below. If there's any new Witcher stuff you want me to cover, I'm definitely going to be covering a lot in the lead up to the season 2 coming out, and also maybe after that, because I might be breaking down some episodes and stuff like that as well. So if you're interested in any of that, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, let me know down below, and I will see you all next time.